everybody. Thanks for joining us for our first big team call of 2017. And I'm so excited because we have Jillian Kaplan here to talk to us. And if you guys don't know Jillian's story, you're in for a treat. Like, it's going to amaze you what she has done, not only as a full-time corporate woman, but this last year, through her some major curveballs, she has overcome, and honestly just been somebody that has been a huge inspiration to me to watch how she came through this with grace and love and continue to inspire people so many aspects of their life. So on that note, Jillian, I'm going to turn it over to you. Make sure you're muted, guys.
Can you guys see that? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So thank you guys for having me. Excited to be here. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my story and who I am, and then I'm going to talk to you about some time management and really how that helped me deal with kind of what I've been through in this past year. Because having a schedule and knowing what you need to do when life throws you a curveball makes things so much easier, right? Because you just kind of like know what you need to do and you're not like all over everywhere. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me to start. So I'm a girl who was a former binge eater. I have been overweight my entire life. I graduated high school at 200 pounds. I am 5'4". That is large. I had always yo-yoed. I tried everything, diet pills, wraps, you name it. I did P90X like well before I was a coach and did really well with it, but didn't have the support and the weight came back. And so Beachbody has been the only thing that I've been able to kind of stick with and, really see huge results for me. And so that was my big why, right? People would say, like, I hadn't lost 100 pounds. I don't have a job I hate. I don't have kids I want to stay home with. I just really knew that these products worked, and more importantly, that the support in the community worked, and I wanted to help people. And that's truly why I started this journey. And I'm a little bit cheap and wanted a discount. So that's my reality. And I went to Summit in 2016 as I sat with Courtney, actually, I feel like at a lot of events, as the leader of an elite team, which is amazing. And I was, I had been in 2015, I had one coach with me. I went in 2016, I had a whole team with me. I mean, it felt like I was on top of the world. I got home from Summit on a Monday. That weekend, I got an email. They chose me from the Core to Force test group. I was like, oh my goodness, I've hit like the Beachbody lottery, right? Like, I just come off a Summit. I was on Beachbody high. I was so, so, so excited. A lot of you guys know, like, a test group is just something someone chooses you for. You can't apply. There's nothing you can do to get on it. You just have to be chosen. And so I was so excited. So I had actually, and then we had a super Saturday. I got to meet Jericho, but I couldn't tell anyone that I was in the test group. It was a really, really high time for me. Then I'm going to share these with you. I hope I don't freak anyone out. August 10th, so right after I got home from Summit, I was walking my dog in a crosswalk and I got hit by a car at full speed. I don't remember anything. I was rushed to the hospital. I had emergency brain surgery so that they could save my life. I shattered my pelvis, my face, my sacrum, and my sternum. I was in the ICU a week and then in a rehab hospital for a month. So needless to say, I couldn't do the test group. And they weren't sure I was going to make it. And then they thought maybe I'd have brain damage. And then they told me that I may never walk again. And I was flabbergasted. I felt like, I just felt crushed. But at the same time, I knew that if I didn't push through this, that I was never going to be the person that I had, been for the past 2 years. And like, honestly, I will tell you guys that, if I wasn't fit and I wasn't healthy, I probably wouldn't have survived. And if I did survive, I never would have recovered the way that I have. I have been able to make a full recovery. I have no pain. I had that, you guys can see in that picture, I had this crazy contraption on my hips. It was these 4 pinholes drilled into my pelvis that like held my pelvis together so that it could reheal. And then they went in and surgically removed it. And I have nothing left in my pelvis metal wise. I have a plate in my head that I can't feel. And that is where my story went in August, after I had just like experienced this huge, huge, huge high. And I truly did make a margarita out of this. Like the day after my accident, I had my mom bring me in some weights, and I was like hooked up to all these IVs, and I was lifting weights in my hospital bed because I needed to move, because I felt like if I didn't stop moving, nothing could stop me, right? And that was so, so, so important to me. And so it's really important that whatever life throws any of you, that you, I'm not going to say you're prepared for it, but that you're prepared to meet it with a vengeance. Because I could have just given up and said, like, I'm not going to do this. I'm done. Like, this is too much for me. But instead, I used what had happened to me and used it to help me recover from my accident. And in turn, not totally on purpose, I helped a lot of other people with what they were going through. So I know that I'm not saying that like you guys need to have this big, horrific near-death experience to use the power that you have, but what your story can inspire someone without you even knowing it, even if it's something small. If you're going through a divorce, if you are having infertility issues, if you there's a whole myriad of things, right? If you hate your job, whatever, like there are people who can relate to you. And by sharing your story, A, it will feel extremely therapeutic for you. B, it will help you recover, and C, it's going to help someone else. So that I can't believe it was like 5 months ago now. That's it. It's crazy. So November 28th, I went back to work, and I'm going to talk to you guys about my schedule. I have a very high level job at a Fortune 10 company. I like what I do for work. I like what I do at Beachbody. I feel like they fulfill me in different ways. And so for now, I definitely plan to continue to do both. I end my year super strong with my team. I have them to thank. It was all them. We ended as an elite team again, so 2-time elite after coming off this horrific accident. And I tell them all the time, like, no excuses, right? And I felt like, well, I tell them no excuses. I can't make an excuse just because I got hit by a car. And I know that sounds dramatic, but that's the reality. Like sometimes if you have big goals and you really want to help people, you have to kind of say, okay, this is how I'm going to help people. I'm going to share my story. I was in a wheelchair. I wasn't able to stand up for 2 months. I wasn't allowed to, but I still shared my story, and I still shared what I could, because I knew that being fit at that point was so much more than skinny jeans for me. It was literally the thing that saved my life. And I felt like I had an obligation to share that with people. So that's the dramatic part of my presentation. I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts. And what I was sharing before was that, having really a set schedule and doing what I'm going to call the boring stuff as part of your power hour, the non-glamorous stuff, is going to help you so much when life throws you curveballs like this. Like I just knew what I had to do every day to keep my business going. I wasn't scattered. I wasn't all over the place. I was like, okay, this is what I have to do every day, and people would call me at the hospital because I guess I put up a post on Facebook that I got hit by a car and I was okay. And then I posted the video and I didn't look so good. People are like, I thought you were okay. I'm like, well, I'm not dead, am I? And that was my attitude the entire time, is that, I was thankful to be alive. And I'm super thankful for the recovery that I've had. So here's my non-glamorous how to rock this business. I do a power hour every day. I used to say I work this business in about 10 hours a week. I'm going to call it closer to 15 now. I do like an hour and a half maybe during the week, because that's what I have time for, and about 5 to 10 hours on the weekends. And that's like all the backup stuff that I had to do that I didn't get done during the week. So every single week, and Courtney has these slides, so if you guys can't write notes fast enough, don't worry. I write out my power hour to-do list. I write out my goals, and I follow my to-do list. I read or listen to personal development. If you feel like you're short on time, get some books on tape and listen to them while you work out. You don't need to sit down and just read if you don't have time to do that. I listen to the National Wake Up Call every week, usually when I walk my dogs. I work on me. I lead by example. Don't be that leader who tells people what to do and doesn't actually do the work. Even as a 5-star coach, I'd say 95% of my time is spent on my business and 5% is spent on my team. But that's not really being selfish. It's that 95% is spent on me, but it's also spent showing my team what they should be doing, right? I have the right mindset and intentions. I help as many people as I can without expecting anything in return. And I'm going to share that with you guys on my calendar. I know Courtney has a calendar for you guys too. So you have to find what works for you, and I'll share with you what has worked for me. And then number 6 is no excuses, no complaining. So when I look at the top coaches, I see so many of them are so different. You know, they have kids, they're men, they're women, they have jobs, they don't, whatever. But they never make excuses. If they make a mistake or they miss a goal, they own it. They're not like, oh, well, that didn't work because X, Y, Z. I will tell you, I did not qualify for leadership. Half the qualification was while I was in the ICU. It didn't matter. I still owned the fact that I didn't qualify. It had nothing to do with me getting hit by a car. It was on me. My power hour every single day, non-glamorous, you guys. I add 20 people every single week to my network, or 3 to 5 a day, whatever works for you. I return all my messages. I share on social media twice a day. I build relationships. I invite 2 to 3 people a day to challenge groups. And I'm going to share with you on my calendar how I do that also, because I felt as though I was getting very, not sidetracked, but unfocused when I wasn't inviting to one thing at a time, when I was inviting to so many different things. So my calendar helps me stay focused. I follow up with people about my challenge. I make a to-do list for tomorrow. I post on my team's page. I'm very spastic. What I do, oftentimes I'll share posts that I did to give them ideas for what they can do, leading by example. I post every day on Facebook and Instagram. Those are my 2 platforms, whatever 2 platforms I would say you use are your best. I put the business in front of 3 to 5 people a week. And this is what I do every day, every day, every day, every day. Consistency is key. Like I said, I wish I had one of those huge whys that these coaches have, where they're $300,000 in debt, or they hate their job, or they want to be home with their family, or they've lost 100 pounds. I would love to have a why like that. But truthfully, my why is, I know that these products work. I know that the support works, and I want to help other people. My why has changed since my accident, as I feel as though like I want to help more people. But kind of the basis is the same. You know, I'm motivated by different things than other people. And so I need to make sure that I'm doing these to-dos. Okay, this calendar looks crappy. Sorry, I don't know why it's doing this. But this is, like I said, I know Courtney has a calendar for you guys too. This is my monthly calendar. I'm sorry that you can't really see it, but I start every single first Monday of every month. I do a free group. So this one was a crock-pot group, Crock It Till It's Hot. This is last February. This isn't this year. Crock It Till It's Hot, crock-pot group. And I'll offer a 7-day Shakeology Jumpstart with it. So they can go on the website and order that, or you can put them together a pack and send it out, whatever works for them. I get an extra box a month so that I can put together these 7-day packs for people and the flavors that they choose. So every single first Monday of every month. And then the second Monday of every month is when I'm going to call it my paid group. It's not really paid. It's the people that commit to a program or Shakeology or both will start. And what I do is I start talking to the people that are in my free group, because I know they might be interested in health and fitness, about my paid group. So it allows me to hit Success Club early. I'm one of those people that if I'm not at Success Club 10 by like the 5th, I like start having convulsions. So this allows me to hit Success Club really early and get people started on their journey, so that the second half of the month, I can really put the vital process in place and convert those challengers into coaches and help my team where they need it, right? The first half of the month is really all about me, and the second half of the month is really about pouring into my challenge group and helping my team where they need it. We, fun competitions. We had a Beat Me in Success Club points. There's a team cup last February. The National Wake Up Call is on there. But this is what works for me. And this way, the week before the free group, I'm inviting to the free group. Then the free group starts, I'm inviting to my paid group. Then the paid group starts, I'm inviting to my intro to coaching group. And then that group starts, and then I'm following up with all those people to convert them into coaches, instead of like having 5 million things going on at once. And if you're struggling with time management and this kind of stuff, and you're finding there's stuff you're not good at, outsource it. And I know that sounds expensive and crazy, but honestly, there's a service called Fiverr, Fiverr, where you can get things done for like $5. And you can, like, literally, you guys, I'm an engineer, okay? So I do math. If you ask me to do a flyer, it looks like a 3-year-old put it together. It's horrendous. And I will have spent 7 hours doing it. So I learned, like, after the first year of my business, I needed to stop doing that. So if I need a flyer done, I pay the $5. It's not worth the headache or the 7 hours of my time. So definitely think about, it's never too early to outsource things that aren't helping you move your business forward, especially if they're not part of your power hour, right? If you're done with your power hour and you're really good at flyers and you love it and you have however much time to do it, then do it. But for me, like, I know that my power hour comes first, and then I can do the fun stuff, right? Okay, so I talked a lot about inviting to all these groups. So let's talk about some conversation starters. Compliment, comment, question is a great way to start a conversation. Hey, I loved your blue scarf. I have one just like it. Where did you get yours? Super easy. You want to be conversing with people and asking questions so that they have something to respond to. Use their name. I know that sounds obvious, but seriously, like hun and babe and sweetie sounds very generic and like you're copying and pasting a message. So I know sometimes on Instagram there isn't their name, but if you can find it, use it, right? And there are some examples of questions to use on here. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use scripts at all, but they should sound like you and like you care, right? You should be intentional in who you're speaking to. Here's some social media planners for people that are like, I have no idea what to post. You said to post 2 to 3 times a day. I try to post at least one post that is health, fitness, or business related. And sometimes it ends up being 2. And then I make sure that, I have at least one post that's not health and fitness, business related. It's probably about my dogs, because I am obsessed with my dogs. So, but if you have kids or a husband or you're single and you love to, I don't know, paint, like maybe that's what you talk about. So pick things that you like and make sure to sprinkle them into your post so it's not all business. Okay, these are my top 5 tips for you guys, and then I'll take questions. I know this call isn't very long since time management is my strength. I like to keep it concise. So have a plan and stick to it. I know that we all see groups that someone's doing like on your team. And you're like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. I'm going to do that group. But you already had a plan. I got news for you. Join that group, get the outline, and plan your own group like that next month. Don't like jumble up your plan by adding a bunch of different groups in there, because I feel like that's when I got flustered. I'm in Jen Richardson's team, and she was like always posting new groups, and my coach was, and I'm like, I'm inviting to like 17 different groups, and I have to post in 17 different groups a day, and I couldn't do it anymore. So stick to your plan. If you see a group that's a great idea, awesome. Like someone just posted that I did a crockpot group last month. Someone posted a new group this month. You better believe I joined that group and grabbed that meal plan out and put in my Google Docs so that I can use it in the future. But I'm not going to like change my whole plan to join that person. Do it every day, every day, every day. I take planned breaks. So, for example, like if I went on the Success Club cruise in 2016, and I was the only person, I think, on that boat that turned off my phone and didn't turn it back on. I carried a regular camera. People are like, what's that? I'm like, it's a camera, takes pictures, you know? But I planned it, and I told my following I was going off the grid and that I needed a break. And, you know, I didn't just like say on like a random Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm not going to work today, you know? So I'm not saying you can never take a break, take vacation, but plan it, right? Because that's what a business owner would do. Put the necessary before the fun. That means your power hour comes before these fun flyers and anything you're doing for your team, trainings, whatever. You've got to put yourself first. And I'm telling you, it is not selfish. That is the best thing you can do for your team. Take your hardships and turn them into success. That is exactly what I did this year. At a time where it's actually a hard time of year, right? September to December. And I had a terrible accident. Instead of, you know, letting things just dwindle and saying, oh, I'll pick it back up when I can stand again, I was like, you know, I had this to do. And I will tell you guys, I'm a worker. If I didn't have this business, I think I would have been like homicidal, because it gave me something to do every day. It gave me something to look forward to. It gave me a purpose. And, you know, I'm one of those people that couldn't wait to get back to my 9 to 5. Like I wanted something to do. And I was already a little bit bored with just having Beachbody, but I can't imagine like if I had nothing, right? I literally would sit there in my hospital bed with my computer in my lap, and they'd be like, it's time to go to PT. I'm like, okay, 1 second, you know, because it gave me something to do. It gave me a purpose. This company is amazing. They flew someone out from corporate in Utah to see me, which is like beyond my wildest expectations, to be honest, and give me a bunch of free gear, which was like so nice of them. And then my last tip is stop scrolling. Just because you're on your phone or on your computer doesn't mean you're working. So when you're saying, oh yeah, I worked like 4 hours today and nothing happened in my business. Did you really work, or are you just like on your phone, like looking at someone's stuff? I'm not saying I never do that, but I do it when my work is done. And I will tell you another big tip of mine is that like if I see a post that I love, I'll copy and paste it and throw it in my Google Notes for a rainy day, so that I can like, I'll say, okay, use that post for inspiration and turn it into something for me. The other thing you can do for inspiration is read personal development. You don't need to be just scrolling on Facebook all day for inspiration. That's not how you're going to get inspired to write on social media. So stop doing that. Okay. So if Courtney is okay with this, I'm going to give you an assignment. I want you guys to think about what your calendar is going to look like for next month. We're halfway through the month, so there's already, which is crazy, but there's plenty of time to plan out next month. Maybe you follow along with Courtney's calendar. That is perfect. Maybe you create your own calendar by yourself or with your success partner or whatever. But look at it and try to really stick to it. I think it's going to help you guys a lot, especially when things are not going perfectly according to plan. What are you going to be inviting to? So you should have at least 3 groups next month, at least a challenge. Well, let's just say 2 groups. I have a free group, a challenge group, and an intro to coaching group. But you should at least have something about coaching and the challenge group going on next month. And then I want you guys to be bold and start talking to people. I'm not saying like start spamming people, but start having conversations. I think that if you don't run free groups, and you're nervous about inviting, maybe a free group is where you start the invitation process, because it's free. It doesn't cost any money, right? And it's really easy to have a conversation. And you don't have to make it like, I'm running a free group, XYZ. I did a post for my crockpot group and was like, hey, I'm thinking about running a crockpot group. Would anyone want to join? I've never gotten so much response on a post, and it was really casual. So you don't have to get like so serious about it. Just make it super chill. So anyway, that is what I have. Courtney, is there anything else you wanted me to share?
No, it was so good. Thank you. I've been getting messages, Jillian, as you're talking.
Good. I'm glad.
You guys, I'll put it back on the gallery view. Hold on. There we go. If you guys have questions, unmute yourself, and I'm sure Jillian is happy to answer any questions that you have. Don't be afraid. She doesn't bite. I have to tell you guys, so Jillian's in Jen Richardson's downline, obviously Stephanie Chico's downline, so we're like sister teams. But I met Jillian at the New Leader Conference when we were there last January. So that's something you get to go to once you hit 2-star. And if you're serious about working this business, like set a goal you have to qualify by the end of December this year for that. And it was really neat to meet other coaches out of your immediate downline, not even just from our bigger team, but from all over Beachbody and all over the country. And lots of not team building things, but like getting to know you stuff. And so it was really,
they were like, they treated us nice.
I know. It was honestly like, it was great. Like, I don't want to say it was my favorite event, but it was pretty awesome. Like it's such a small event. And, if you have certain qualifications, we even got flight credit, right? Did we? Or no, we had to buy
yeah, I think so. The hotel, I booked an extra night in the hotel because I was
free hotel.
Yeah, the hotel, we had our own
hotel for free.
Alone.
But like I had to book an extra night because I was coming in from the East Coast, and it was like $500. I mean, it was a nice hotel, I guess is my point.
They don't like bunk you up. You get your own room.
Yeah.
All the food, everything's included, like breakfast, private workouts with the trainers, just small groups. Anyways, side note, that's how Jillian and I connected. And then we've spread it out in what's it called? At the
tunnel.
The tunnel at Summit for like 2 hours together. And we've just bonded. But,
and Courtney's been a wonderful cheerleader through this whole ordeal. So I appreciate that a lot. It's meant a lot to have so much support through all this.
You guys, questions? You have Jillian here.
I'll jump in and ask for other people, Jillian.
Sure.
I'm looking at your that slide. Courtney took a screenshot of it and posted it in our team page. So it says, what is my power hour? So are you, all those lists, the 1 through 10, are you like setting timers for yourself when you're doing this to like really keep yourself on track? Or like, how are you getting through all 10 of those things on your list in 1 hour?
They don't take that long. So I will tell you, I have an Instagram training, which is like a whole other training that I can send over to Courtney that's on my YouTube. And I work my Instagram about 7 minutes a day. And that's not it. I scroll a little on Facebook if I'm done with my power hour. I literally do not scroll on Instagram ever. It is like a black hole. So I think that really helps me to stay focused on there. And yeah, I mean, it's really just follow-ups and sometimes I don't even have a full hour. So like if I have a few minutes, I'll do it. I do get through that list though. If you're struggling, maybe you do like, instead of adding 3 to 5 people a day to your network, maybe you do the 20 a week, right? Maybe you do things in clumps if you're struggling to move quickly from activity to activity.
Jillian, do you kind of set on Sunday, and I see you have your weekly to-do list. Do you lay out your week, or is it just daily, now it's just habit and you know what you're going to do?
Yeah, I lay out my week is I know I have a weekly thing up there. My week is pretty much the same every single week. It just changes as to what I'm inviting to. And you can tell, my challenge group has already started this month. So obviously the health bet started. And so honestly, my focus is changing to recruiting now. So every day I haven't done a call to action yet, but every day I'm going to be breadcrumbing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, I just kind of plan around, like basically Sunday is like, okay, what am I breadcrumbing this week leading up to a call to action? And I know that it's scary to do call to actions because we don't want to be spammy, but it's really important that once or twice a week that you do them, because otherwise your audience is like, this girl keeps giving me all this great information and I don't even know how to join her.
But I find too, if you really, like, if you guys look at the way I write those calendars, you know, it's based around where you're leading up to that big call to action, or you've mentioned the call to action and then you're talking about it. And I found in the beginning when I started in this business, I would do a call to action and get a ton of responses, you know, from that. And I didn't have to do the breadcrumbing. But over time that starts to fade. And so I personally feel like now I don't get a big response from the big call to action, but the breadcrumbing, I get people trickling in from. So that's why it's so important. And I say you guys will feel like you're saying the same things over and over and over again, but different people are seeing them. So perfect example is the All Access Challenge Pack, the All Access Beachbody on Demand. This is something that you have to be constantly talking about and explaining to people and weaving it into your life, you know, and how it's improving your life and making everything easier. So it's just a constant thing with that breadcrumbing.
Yeah, Facebook only shows like your post to 7% of your friends. So just keep that in mind. Like when you post something, don't post the exact same thing, but what Courtney's saying is like you have to keep saying it.
Yeah, and I remember when Liz and I were first starting doing this, like we'd get those big responses and they got to the point we weren't getting any. And I'd always say, if you can get one person that you start engaging and having a conversation with from a post, that's huge. Like that's a success. That's a successful post. So, you know, and sometimes I feel like I can do it too. I can look at some of these coaches that have, Stephanie Chico, you know, she can do a post and she can get all of these people, Jen Richardson, all of these people saying interested or comment. They also have so many thousands of followers, you guys. So it's kind of all relative too. And a lot of coaches are commenting on their posts too. So it's people that they're coaches and downline, and that happens to me too. But you know, don't see yourself as your posts are failing, your social media is failing if you're only getting a little bit of interaction there. You're not. I'm always happy with one person new to talk to. So.
Hey, Jillian, it's Kelly. Can you hear me?
Like a little fuzzy.
A little fuzzy? A little better? I'll talk really loud.
Okay, talk really loud.
Sorry, I don't have a video on this computer, which is probably why I'm a little quiet. But I loved your story and I loved how you approach things. And I actually just want to kind of talk to you from a corporate perspective because I actually work at AT&T. I used to work at Verizon. I looked you up on LinkedIn. That's how I know that, which is tricky. So you said Fortune 10 company, and I work for a Fortune 10 company. So. But how do you balance corporate life with what you're doing? Because that's a lot of what I struggle with. I've got, you know, a corporate job, working 12-hour days and trying to have time for Beachbody and also having time to relax. You know, do you do your stuff in the morning? Do you do it at night? How do you find that time when you've got deadlines?
So I try to work out in the morning just to get it done because that is a total non-negotiable for me. And then I do my stuff on my lunch or at night, like before dinner. Kind of after dinner is like my husband time and my dog time and my relaxation time. It is hard. Truthfully, I don't work 12-hour days every day. I work a lot, but I'm also pretty efficient at my job. So like, I feel like I don't have to put in 60 hours a week. But I feel I love what I do with Beachbody because I love helping people. And at Verizon, I'm not exactly saving lives, but it fulfills me in different ways. Like I use my brain in different, you know, I'm a math geek. So like I love like doing numbers and stuff. And so it fulfills me in a different way. And so I think that actually doing both keeps me really satisfied at both. Like I don't feel like that, you know, it's nice because it's kind of like, okay, well, I have both these options. Like I can do what I want. I don't feel a ton of pressure from either. Does that make sense?
It does. That's a really good perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about like what you love about your corporate job and what you love about your Beachbody job. I mean, I told you guys this, like I had thought, I thought maybe, and if I have a family, things could change. We don't have any children right now, so I don't have anything else to do. But I had thought, maybe I'd leave my corporate job for Beachbody. And then I had the unfortunate opportunity to not be at work for 14 weeks through my accident and only have Beachbody. And at first, I was sleeping like a grandma, like 16 hours a day. So it wasn't bored, but like towards the end when I was pretty recovered, I was like, it's almost like wasn't enough work for me. So it's the balance that really keeps me happy. And I'll tell you, like in November when I was home and I was home and I was very close to being recovered. I wasn't allowed to go back to work yet, but I could walk and stuff. I hit like Success Club 50 because I was like, I just talked to everyone I ever met in my life because I have nothing else to do. So, but yeah, I can't, I guess that's hard to explain, but I just think that you have to look at like the pros of each and think about how they balance each other. And I think you'll find that it's really easy to be satisfied with both.
Well, thank you for the inspiration. I like seeing somebody else in corporate that's able to do it. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. You could totally do it. And honestly, when I wasn't working, my time management was terrible because I was like, oh, I'll just sit here and wait for something to happen because I had nothing else to do. So I think it helps sometimes to have to be stuck on a schedule.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I have a question.
Sure.
Because you say you're a math brain, I'm really curious of when you were recovering, what books were you reading for your personal development?
I like the book, How You Measure Your Life. We had to read it for NLC. Courtney, did you read it? I don't know. I don't want to call you out if you didn't.
No, I didn't. I totally forgot that. And I'm a total like book reader, so I don't know. No, but.
And I read it again, How You Measure Your Life. I read The 12-Week Year, which is all about more time management stuff. I highly recommend that book.
That is our team. We're doing a book club every month, and that is our book of the month. So if y'all don't have that book, you better.
Yeah, that's a good one. And The Year of Yes was a good one too. I mean, I just felt like that was so applicable to me. I had to say yes to getting better, to recovering from this trauma, to, it's just like the whole thing is just crazy. It's like it's one of those weird accidents that I feel like people hear about and you think, oh, it'll never happen to anyone I know. And then
it does.
Yeah. So like in life, like I said, you don't have to have a major accident like this to have to like put this into you guys have so much to share. You all have a story. You just have to share it. And I had not, like before this, I had not had a good year. I had a miscarriage. Verizon went on strike. I'm not union, but that means as an executive, I had to work. So I was working 90 hours a week for 7 weeks. I had 3 days off total in 7 weeks. So it had been a tough year for us, but it was do or die for me, literally. So. And just think about like this. I mean, I'm sorry, like I know there are other direct marketing companies out there, but none of them would have saved my life. Like I don't think I would have recovered if I wasn't in good shape. It's amazing. So we have so much power to help so many people.
And I know, Jillian, the community, you mentioned like corporate, but I know the community was huge inspiration for you, the Beachbody community in your recovery.
Yeah, everyone was like amazing to me. My team like cooked a bunch of meals and made sure my husband was fed, and it was really amazing. Everyone was so like sweet and wonderful when I was posting, and yeah, it was amazing. And like I said, corporate was. I mean, they don't have to do that. They don't need to fly someone out from Utah to see me to bring me free stuff. But they did.
She lives in Boston, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah. They were like, can we come visit? And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, can we come visit on Saturday? I'm like, sure. Yeah, if you'd like. So it was really, they've been amazing to me, honestly.
You'll get in another test group, Jillian.
I know, right? Guys, that was like my biggest disappointment. I'm like, oh, I can't be in the test group. I did when I did complete the program. I started mid-November. I completed it mid-December, and my results were killer.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I'll get in the infomercial. That's
yeah. You can tell your whole story.
Yeah, exactly. When you don't stand for 2 months, everything goes a little bit
yeah, well,
flabby. But yeah, but I was very I was very conscious in the hospital of what I was eating and stuff, and I'm pretty sure the nurses thought I was crazy, but I was like, I'm not drinking Ensure. Sorry, the second ingredient is corn syrup. And they were like, what? I'm like, I'm not doing it. I made my dad bring me a blender and make my Shakeology every day, and I couldn't open my mouth because my jaw was shattered, but yeah, that's how important it was to me. Crazy, right?
Right? So when you think things suck, think of Jillian. And No, but seriously, like, I think we all were like, oh, our lives, and sometimes we do have bad things, and sometimes it's things we're like thinking are way worse than they really are, and so always trying to be just like grateful for where we are in our lives.
I've never once felt bad for myself through this whole thing. I will say that I felt grateful that I'm alive. Like there was so much blood on the road, the fire department had to come hose off the road. Everyone on the scene will tell you they thought I was not alive. And my dog is fine, by the way. I know that probably no one asked me that question. Usually people ask me that question.
Yeah.
And it was like I didn't have an ID because I was just walking my dog. And we'd only had her about a month. She was a puppy. And she didn't run away. Thank God. She came and sat next to me, and they found my husband by his number on her tag.
Wow.
Crazy, right? And they were like, do you have a dog walker? And he was like, nope. It was before work, broad daylight at 8 a.m. in a crosswalk. So look both ways.
It has changed the way I walk anywhere near a car, I have to say, and my kids and anything. So
crazy, right? So, but seriously, like, you guys have, I just want you to think about your power and think about, your time management, and think about like what you have to share with the world, because you have something special to share with the world. And it's up to you to find your people,
Yes. Anybody else? Come on, you guys, don't be afraid. This is your chance. No?
Nothing?
I want to thank you. I'm still trying to process everything that you've shared with us. So thank you so much for your input. I'm a full-time high school counselor. I have 2 little girls. So I appreciate everything you've shared with us today. I struggle with just putting things down on a list, like a to-do list. I feel like I live my life day by day. As far as my business, I do have an idea of what I'm going to be posting every day and what I'm going to be sharing. But the tips that you've shared today really have helped me to just realize that I really need to sit down, because I can definitely get these things in an hour. I think when I first started the business, I was able to get the things in an hour, but I've seemed to like complicate it. So I need to go back to how things were. So thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, this business isn't easy, because if it was easy, then everyone would be successful, but it's super simple. So You're right. Complicating it just makes talk to more people, share your story, read a book, drink a shake, do a workout. It's not complicated. It's super simple. It's just doing those things over and over. And I know it doesn't sound glamorous, and you see all these pictures of these amazing coaches and these glamorous places and these fancy dresses, but they got to those glamorous places and those fancy dresses by doing this can be boring stuff. And the day when you don't want to do it the most is the day you need to do it the most.
Definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love it. Yay. You guys, sorry. My husband's playing the piano.
He's not that good.
That was awesome, Jillian. I hope you guys like go back, and I'm sure if you have questions, you know, you can always shoot Jillian a message. But it's just nice to see a new perspective of other teams, other coaches, how they're doing their thing, because you're awesome, Jillian. So thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys. If you need anything, reach out. I'll find that Instagram training and send it to Courtney. Once again, it's really boring and methodical, but I just, you know, I did not have an Instagram when I became a coach. Like, it did not exist, and I have like 11,000 followers, which is not amazing, but it's decent considering I had 0. I didn't have
And you do that in 7 minutes a day. So
7 minutes a day.
do you attract a lot of customers from Instagram? Is that
I reach out to a lot of people. I wouldn't say I attract them. Like, people don't come to me.
okay?
I think that's I'm not going to say it's a misconception, but I think a lot of top coaches, and Courtney can probably attest to this because she's on the wall, they'll be like, well, I just use attraction marketing and people just come to me. And I'm like, yeah, no, like, that might have worked in the beginning. Like Courtney said, she'd get huge responses, but the reality is that 2.5 years into my business, I have to be reaching out. And you know, and I have people who I reach out to every single month, and they're like, you know, they say no to me every single month. And then finally, after 7 months, they say yes. And they're like, I appreciate you being so persistent. They don't ever no one ever's like, oh, leave me the hell alone. They're like, the way I reach out to them makes them feel as though, and I do, that I want to help them, right? Not that I just want to sell them something. So you can definitely
See, Jillian, I think maybe that would be, if you're willing to share like a little script of how you reach out to people, because I know that's a huge, I admittedly don't do it. I don't. Like, I follow up with people that like and comment, but I also am not hitting Success Club 50 like you. So, you know, there's definitely all things that we can all improve, and I'd love to see how you do that in a way that they feel like you're trying.
Yeah, I mean, I do the same thing. If someone likes my post, I'll just say, like, thank you so much for the like. Like, it's you know, your comments and likes that really help keep me going. And then I'll always end with a question, like, are you working on any of your personal health and fitness goals? But I will tell you, like, I'm the worst. I just did a call for Jen Richardson about this, or like a quick live thing. I'm the worst salesperson in the world. Like, literally, I cannot sell anything, which is the only reason I'm good at this business, because like, people be like, oh, like, I don't want to spend any money. I'm like, okay, join my free group. And then I have them in my free group and I add value to them. And they're like, wow, this lady just didn't send me her link and want to sell me something, right? Because I'm a terrible salesperson. I'll tell you, people say, oh, you hit Success Club, you're at the top of the leaderboards. How could you be a bad salesperson? I had a customer, remember when the free 3-day refresh was on sale?
Mm-hmm.
Like, alone. So I had a customer, I had marketed it alone. Like, I had not marketed it as a challenge pack. It was the end of the month, and, you know, I was going to do it, and I truthfully wanted buddies. So I marketed it alone. So a couple people responded to my call to action, and we chatted, and I sent one lady the link, and she said to me, she comes back 5 minutes later and she says, okay, so the 3-day refresh is like $65 alone. She said, or did you know that I can get it with 21-day fix and Shakeology for $180? And I was like, yeah, I knew that. And she was like, were you going to tell me that? And I was like, well, I know, like that's how, like, I'm not an upseller. It's not my strength. And so but it's really just about like talking to people and adding value, and like not trying to sell them right off the bat. Same, like, I message people that like my posts, and we start conversations, and, you know, probably 75% of the time it just leads to them being in my free group. But then at least I have them in a place where they're actually seeing my post and I'm adding value. Does that make sense?
Totally. And so you guys, when you see her Power Hour list, when it's, you know, following up and reaching out, I'm not looking at it exactly here, but those are those things. Like, you don't have to pick somebody random and send a message to them, you know?
Yeah.
So it's those people that have shown a little interest. And I've told my coaches recently, I'm like, when you make your vision board, like dream team of your team, and your or people that you would love to have in your challenge group, like don't shoot them just a message about nothing. Just start engaging with them. Start talking to them on their posts and liking and commenting and, breaking down those barriers that way. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've had very few people. I don't think I've had anyone. I had one girl that told me no, and it was like the week that I was off the grid. It was the week of the cruise, but I didn't get her message because I was off the grid. And when I got back, she had this nasty message to me that was like, I told you no, and then you ignored me. And I'm like, no, I actually was off the grid, but that's like the only time I've had. I just really talk to, you got to find out people's needs. Like I never post my link. I'm sure you guys don't either. I don't want someone going to buy Insanity that is 300 pounds and has never worked out before because they're not going to be successful. I don't think I could do Insanity. So, you know what I mean? You have to like get to know people and their needs and talk to them and continue to add value to them. But once again, it's not easy to do that, but it's super simple.
Yeah. It just takes a little bit of extra time back and forth with them, I think.
Yeah, if you're a good salesperson, I mean, it's different. This business is so different than a lot of other direct sales companies. We don't sell things and walk away. That's just not what we do.
Well, there are some coaches that do that, but I don't think anywhere amongst our team
Right.
wide going up high, sorry, Brandy or whatever, that's never been taught. I come across people who've had a coach like, yeah, I had a coach told me something, I never heard from her again. I'm like, well, that's not me. You're going to get really sick of me. Trust me. So letting them know that you're here. And
if you continue to follow up with them, you're going to teach them that too, that you are going to, once they decide to join you, they're going to have your support.
Yeah. Bottom line, be organized, systems in place to make your life easier, and then just take the tools in the 12-week year and implement them into your life. Like you guys, that book can change your life and your business 100%. So, all right, ladies, have a good night. Thank you so much, Jillian.
Bye. Nice to see you guys. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.